Well, we welcome you back to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts. You're on NBC4 New York Giants preseason football. Bill Belichick, three-time Super Bowl champion as head coach of the Patriots, spent 12 years on the staff of the New York Giants, winning a couple of Super Bowls as defensive coordinator in 1986 and 1990. Tom Coughlin was on that Giants staff in 1990 as well when the Giants won Super Bowl 25. Tom, two-time Super Bowl champion, his 10th year as head coach of the New York Giants. What about that offensive line? For more, here's Howard Cross.
Guys, think about this. Will Beatty has been the only guy to start in his position the entire time in this preseason. No one else has. Booth would have been tonight, but he's moved to center. This might be the starting five that you see against the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants got to find some way, somehow, to get these five guys to be a unit tonight.
That's something that obviously we're going to focus in on. And Will Beatty at that left tackle spot. The Giants are going to get the football first. Beatty in his 5th year out of UConn. Started 15 of 16 games last year. Kevin Booth is going to move over to center tonight. And Carl, it's not easy when you keep shuffling the deck with your offensive line.
Well, the first place that it shows is in short yardage situations and in red zone, and you can see the inconsistencies there.
All right, Patriots are going to kick off. And back deep, Michael Cox, number 29 for the Giants. He's averaging 28 yards a return. We're going to watch him throughout the course of the night. 7th round pick out of UMass, trying to make this football team. He brings a lot to the table on special teams. Gostkowski with the kickoff. Cox is going to run it out. Steamrolls the man at the 15, tackled at the 16-yard line. And that's where the Giants will start 1st and 10. Quarterback Eli Manning leads the Giants out onto the field. And last season, Manning threw for 3,900 yards. So far in the preseason, Eli just 43%, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And the Giants starting lineups presented by Wendy's. We'll give you the rest in just a second. Giants go 1st and 10 with David Wilson at the tailback. Wilson had an 84-yard touchdown run last week. Manning to throw on 1st down. Manning finds his tight end, Brandon Myers, and that picks up 14 as we take a look at the rest of the Giants starting offense. And that group, David Wilson, Bear Pasco, the fullback, Hakeem Nicks, Ruben Randall, Brandon Myers with the catch for Myers' 3rd catch of the preseason. Offensive line reconfigured. James Brewer gets his chance playing left guard for the first time. Kevin Booth moves over to center. On a 1st and 10, David Wilson, not a lot of room, and he twists his way to get 1.5 yards, and that's it. Stop by Wendy's for a Monterey Ranch crispy chicken sandwich. 99 cents for a limited time. Prices and participation may vary.
The offensive line got pushed back on that one pretty good. They read the run, the Patriots did, and there was no room for David Wilson to even get going.
So on a 2nd and 9, Manning with plenty of time. Manning to the sideline high. Intended for Hakeem Nicks, out of bounds. And Carl, that's one where you talk about the timing. Nicks was wide open. That should have been an easy one.
Yeah, it was wide open. Eli came to him late because he was tempted to dump the ball down to Wilson, who also was wide open. And had that ball been in bounds, it would have been intercepted.
Giants head coach Tom Coughlin says he'd like to see Manning and the starters get about 12 to 15 snaps. So 3rd and 9 from the Giants' 32-yard line. Opening possession of the ball game. Andre Brown in the game. Manning for Randall, who cut off his route at the 41-yard line. So the Giants get 1 first down against the Patriots backup defense, and then the drive stalls quickly.
Eli had a lot of time there, but when he went down the field, there was no one there. He just got rid of the ball.
So Steve Weatherford is in to punt for the 22nd time here in the preseason. And the veteran, former Jet, former Seahawk Leon Washington, back deep. Weatherford with a good spiraling punt. Washington makes the first man miss. Flags fly as Washington takes it out to the 23-yard line. We'll check on the flags. Mark Herzlich made the tackle for the Giants as the Patriot offense gets set to come on the field. Walt Anderson, our referee this evening.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 35, receiving team. Half the distance to the spot of the foul. It's first down.
So after the 48-yard punt, an illegal block in the back, so the Patriots will start this offensive possession inside their own 20-yard line.
And you'll see, I don't know if that's Jaron Hosley. No, that's not Hosley. But the gunner got down there pretty good. He was able to draw that foul.
Tremaine McBride getting downfield.
Bubble guy.
Ryan Mallett, in his third year of Arkansas, will start the game off for the Patriots. Avoids pressure, gets it to Leon Washington, hit by Connor, and tackled at the 13-yard line. So a gain of 7 on the play. Let's get a look at Ryan Mallett. 6'6", 245 pounds. Was 1 for 4 last year in 4 games with the Patriots. He's hit 53% of his passes in the preseason. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Tom Brady getting the night off. Brady, good preseason. 77% completion rate for Brady in the preseason. Mallett to throw on second down. Completes it to his tight end, Zach Sudfeld. Hit by Ryan Mundy right near the sticks as we take a look at the Giants starting defense presented by Wendy's for tonight's ball game. Up front, Cullen Jenkins, Linval Joseph, Sean Rogers, and Justin Tuck, the defensive line. Jenkins can play both inside and on the edge. Paysinger, Connor, and Rivers, the linebackers. And Ryan Mundy will get the start at safety with the injury, season-ending injury to Stevie Brown. On a 3rd and 1, Mallett completes it into the flat, and it's good enough for a first down. That's James Devlin, first-year player out of Brown, with the reception.
Good to see Antrell Roll back on the field. He was hobbled with an ankle injury, and getting him back out there to get more work before opening day.
Yeah, Antrell Roll not playing the last preseason game. Got hurt in a little collision with Bear Pascal, came down wrong on the ankle, but got healthy fast. Mallett, quick release pass to the outside on the left, and that's Josh Boyce, a rookie out of TCU, with the catch. Keith Rivers on the tackle for the Giants. And Carl, the way the Jets attack the Giants, the way the Patriots are attacking the Giants, at least little short passes underneath, the linebackers have to be active.
Well, and that Rivers was very active on that one. He showed his speed, getting out there in the flat and minimizing that gain.
3rd and 6 for the Patriots. Mallett with time. Mallett for Washington, and he can't run under it. Blown coverage there, Carl.
Well, that's what they call that second man through. You get the back who flares out and turns it up, runs right through the zone there.
So Mallett had Leon Washington, but overthrew him.
He sure did. That one would have went the distance too.
Zoltan Mesko in the punt. Back for the Giants, Charles James. He's averaging 10 yards a return in the preseason. James muffed it, lost it, found it, gets tackled. Well, he didn't turn it over. That's the good news. The bad news, he didn't field the punt cleanly.
Blinded by the lights there, and he was able to grab it, though.
Well, Charles James playing a little hot potato, but keeps the possession. Back in Foxborough, time for our Toyota keys to the game, Carl.
Well, it comes down to the unit. Will this offense play as a unit? Moving parts. So far, just okay. One pass and you got a punt. Then you got guys on the bubble like Carr, Barden, Jernigan, Austin, Patterson, and Thomas. They've got to solidify a position here.
Eli Manning, the first-team offense, remains in the game. David Wilson on the carry out to the 26-yard line. and a gain of 6
That's
for David Wilson.
There's a unit blocking there.
And what was your last key, Carl?
Well, it's kind of the fourth game special. The guys, who will you see? And there are a few guys like James and McBride that got to show up, and Michael Cox. Both guys are on the radar, all three guys on the radar, ready to make an impression.
Piece of the game brought to you by Toyota. Wilson on the handoff, gets dragged down from behind. Good pursuit to the football.
Yeah, Giants had a lag draw on that one, a little delay.
Marquise Cole on the tackle, the former Jet. Wilson will come out in third down. Andre Brown comes in, a little bit better in the pass protection. See if the Giants can keep this drive going. Andre Brown on the draw. Flag on the play and a false start on the Giants.
Before the
So the
snap,
3rd and 2 becomes a
number
3rd and 7.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Carl, how concerned would you be right now when you look at the Giants and Justin Pugh, the rookie? I know they've reshuffled the offensive line. This is the 4th configuration so far in the preseason. The fact that they just are really struggling to move the ball.
They really are, Bob, and it just comes down to consistency. You'll see one good play in 3 bad ones or 2 bad ones in a punt. So they've got to string a few things together to get some self-confidence and then have Coach Coughlin confident that they can do something.
Manning under pressure on a 3rd and 7, and that pass goes through the arms of Akeem Nicks, and the Giants go 3 and out. Carl, you take a look at the production in the preseason. 2 offensive touchdowns. Did not score a touchdown in 8 trips into the red zone. The starters 1 for 8 in 3rd down conversions against the Jets. And the first play from scrimmage went for 84 yards on the run by Wilson. The next 31 plays, 97 yards.
And that's important. Like, if you can go a big play and then the rest of the game you get 90-something yards, you've got work to do.
Weatherford with a good punt. Washington makes the first man miss. Diassi chases him out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So the Giants still trying to figure out how to get a little something going offensively. No score here in the first. Second-year tight end Adrian Robinson taken to the Giants locker room. The sideline report brought to you by New York Lottery as we check in with Bruce Beck.
Bob, Adrian Robinson's headed to have his left foot looked at. He's going to have x-rays. He's a guy Tom Coughlin said in this morning's meeting that he wanted to see on the football field, but he can't stay out there and he can't stay healthy. And if you can't do that, the coach is not going to be happy. That is one of the things that bothers him most. So Robinson is headed to the locker room. Back to you guys.
Yep, Robinson and Donnell is looking for more consistency as far as not making mistakes. Patriots on a 1st and 10, give it to Washington. And Matthias Kiwanuka on the tackle after a gain of 3.
It's unfortunate. The Giants are trying to find, that's another area they want consistency with at the tight end position, you know, in the run game as well as in the receiving game, and just not seeing enough of any of these guys to get some consistency going.
And that was rookie George Wynn on that last carry. Washington has just checked on. Mallett on a 2nd and 7 fires a fastball and completes it to the 41-yard line and a first down. That's Kendrell Tompkins, a rookie free agent out of Cincinnati. Corey Webster on the coverage.
That's a well-designed play there. The tackle cut the defensive end to keep him from knocking down that slant route, and Mallett threw it right where it should have been. George
Wynn checks back in at tailback. Giants have their starting defense, and the Patriots playing none of their starters here tonight. 1st and 10 from the New England 41. Run a little end around, and there is some room for the rookie Josh Boyce, the 4th-round pick out of TCU. Antrell Roll gets him out of bounds at the Giants 41.
A little misdirection play there. Everyone was stuck looking at the middle of the pile, looking for something to come out, and they ran a reverse on him.
Gain of 18 on the play for Josh Boyce.
Take a look. You're getting big push in the middle, and there's no safety valve back there.
So the Patriots in Giants territory on their 2nd offensive possession. Mallett throws it And the pass incomplete. Went over the head of his tight end, intended for Tompkins along the Giants sideline. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for New England. And Ryan Mallett, who big, strong, talented guy at quarterback.
And it's great for him to be developing behind Tom Brady. He's got a really good skill set, and you can start to see him really come into his own.
It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Patriots here in the first quarter at the Giants 41. Washington in the backfield takes the handoff. Justin Tuck jumps on his back with Mundy for a gain of a couple. So they'll set up 3rd down for New England inside the Giants 40-yard line. Gave him 4 on the play. So that'll set up 3rd and 6. Patriots with 3 first downs already to the Giants 2. Tompkins split to the top of the screen. Mallett to throw. Has plenty of time. Tompkins can't handle the fastball. And it's incomplete. Let's see what the Patriots will do here. And they're going to send out the punting unit, Zoltan Mesko.
And Mallett getting the ball out of his hands a little high there. But the Patriots are not going to let their quarterbacks hold on to the ball too long. They're running intermediate routes.
Giants have too many men on the field. Michael Cox just gets off. Mesko with the reverse spin punt. James, a fair catch, fields that cleanly at the 9-yard line. So Eli Manning is going to come back out on the field for a 3rd series here in the first. No score. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is fueled by Hess. And we welcome you back to New York Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York. Downtown Boston. The Giants have run 7 offensive snaps to this point. Manning is 1 for 4 for 15 yards. Tom Coughlin told us he wants to get 12 to 15. He was hoping they'd get that with the starting offense in the first drive. Patriots with all their backups in defensively. Manning to throw. Manning for Lewis. Murphy makes the catch at the 45-yard line.
That's got to make Coach Coughlin feel better. Even Eli finding a receiver open. He threw a really good ball on that one. Good protection.
36-yard pass play.
See a good block here by David Wilson. Nice back shoulder throw.
So 1st and 10 Giants at the 46. Myers in motion. Wilson the tailback. Manning to throw. Barapasco with the catch. Barapasco to the Patriots 49-yard line. Gets wrestled down by Duron Harmon, a rookie 3rd-round pick out of Rutgers. Gain of 5 on the play.
Again, good clean pocket. Nice check down. They're getting the backs and the tight ends a little more involved in the passing game on the underneath routes this year.
Murphy to the bottom of the screen. Nick split to the top of the screen on a 2nd and 5. David Wilson with some room. David Wilson powers his way for a 1st down. Gain of 6 for Wilson. Good hard running there by Wilson.
Yeah, that's good run after contact too. He got another additional 2 or 3 yards with the first hit. Good power by a speed back.
Couple 1st downs for the Giants. Pugh did a nice job there, Carl.
Yeah, he got his man down 3 yards down the field. It's a good job by Pugh. Real good job.
Andre Brown on the carry. Not a lot of room up front. Takes it to the Patriot 41-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play. Obviously, the home run hitter for the Giants in the run game is David Wilson. Andre Brown, though, brings a little bit more power.
Move the chains guy. Or as Otis Anderson would say, move the chains.
Tom Coughlin talking with Andre Brown as David Wilson comes back in on a 2nd and 8. Pascal, the motion man. Manning to Wilson in space. Wilson, maybe a little too much juke in Carl as he gets tackled at the 37, gain of 4.
Yeah, he's got to get going north and south, but again, that's the weapon they want to exploit. But take a look at the protection. You had a good power block by Pugh. Now look at him again here. He throws his guy down on the ground. Good sign from the rookie. Good protection.
Work on another rookie, Michael Buchanan. 3rd and 4 for the Giants with 3:35 to go in a scoreless first. Brown in the backfield with Manning. Murphy in motion. Manning with time, middle of the field. That's Brandon Myers, the tight end, for a first down to the 26-yard line.
And that was probably going to be Eli Manning's last play if he didn't complete this first down, but Coach Coughlin's going to let him finish the drive. Again, working underneath, looking deep to short. He's got a back and he has a tight end as safety valves. Good route by the tight end, knowing where the first down marker was.
So 1st and 10 Giants at the 27 of New England. Lewis Murphy comes in motion. David Wilson with room and speed takes on Harmon, but not before he gets to the 11-yard line, and that's a gain of 16 for David Wilson.
There's great speed there. He just outruns the contained guy. You think you're outside and going to turn the play back in, and just watch him go. There's nothing you can do when he hits that turbo button. Look at 92 chase him. Like, boy. Coach, I thought I had him bottled in.
That's Jake Paquette, second-year player out of Arkansas. 1st and 10 Giants at the 11. Andre Brown gets hit by Dane Fletcher and dropped after a gain of 1 to the sideline, and Howard Cross.
Guys, this is the red area. Coach Coughlin's been talking about this the entire preseason, about how he needs more production out of these guys. These guys got a lot to prove. Eli's last drive here, he'd like to put some points on the board, and I do mean a touchdown, not a field goal.
Yeah, and this is an area, and Howard, glad you brought that up, that we talked about, Carl. This has been a real struggle spot for the Giants in this preseason.
Kind of the forbidden forest. They come out with no results, but this would be a great drive if they can cap it off. 90-something yards.
2nd and 9 at the 10. David Wilson cuts it back up the middle. Fletcher goes for a ride down to the 2-yard line. And he'll be about a yard short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Giants.
Good look at the power of David Wilson. He gets in there, finds a nice hole there, and just powers through.
So the Giants can get a first down without scoring the touchdown. 10th play of the drive coming up. This drive started at the Giants' 9. Jernigan is the slot man on the right. Murphy to the bottom of the screen. Nix to the top of the screen. Manning, Nix, touchdown Giants.
Well, I got to believe Tom Coughlin's a very happy man now. They got a drive going 91 yards for a touchdown.
And Akeem Nix gets his first touchdown of the preseason. Eli Manning could take a deep breath. Just beat his man to the spot.
And they're all saying, Coach, why were you so worried? We had this.
Nix beat the rookie out of Rutgers from Voorhees, New Jersey, Logan Ryan, for the touchdown.
Pretty good series there, Bob. They had a lot of run, a lot of pass, methodically moving the ball down the field.
91 yards, 10 plays, 5:42 on the clock. So Akeem Nix with the touchdown pass from Eli Manning. Josh Brown on for the extra point. Rutherford gets the snap down, and Brown's kick is true blue. So with 56 seconds to go in the first, Akeem Nix finds the end zone, and the Giants have the lead 7-0. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Giants. MetLife, check out MetLifeCentral.com for great prizes. And by Verizon, stay connected to your Giants at home and on the go with Fios, Quantum Internet, and NFL Mobile from Verizon. That's powerful. That looks good, a little lobster chowder. Carl?
It really does.
Akeem Nix with the touchdown catch from Eli Manning. David Wilson at 37 yards rushing. Manning 6 of 9 on the drive for 74 yards. Browns kickoff fielded by Jonathan Haggerty. Oh no, that is not good. And Haggerty able to take it at least out to about the 14-yard line. Ran right by Tiger Woods and his caddy Joe LaCava, who are checking things out tonight here in Foxborough. Giants in front, 7. Now Tiger Woods relaxing a little bit. The FedEx Cup playoffs continue as the second leg goes through Boston. Who will survive? The Deutsche Bank Championship begins tomorrow on Golf Channel, Saturday on Golf Channel, and then Sunday and Monday on NBC because of Labor Day. Now look, there's Tiger with his caddy Joe LaCava, and you see Joe where his allegiances are with the New York Giants. And Joe, of course, always has a Giants shirt or a Rangers shirt on when he's at the Masters. Fred Couples, longtime caddy and a huge New York Giants fan. He was out of practice last week. 1st and 10. Nice run here for George Wynn, the rookie out of Cincinnati. Tyler Sash got him out of bounds. The Giants have shuffled the deck as far as their defense is concerned. Gain of 12 on the play.
And they returned the favor. Now the Giants had a guy up the field and they showed a little speed to the outside there themselves, the Patriots.
Wynn's side is a free agent, first team All Big East player out of Cincinnati. Ryan Mallett to throw. Mallett over the middle, completes it for a first down to Aaron Dobson. He's a rookie out of Marshall. Taken in the second round by the Patriots. Another gain of 12 on the play.
And I think this is going to be the theme against this Giants defense. Work underneath on these linebackers. Tyler Sash banged up a little bit there. He's a guy that they're going to need to stay healthy just for depth. You see the 3 safeties here. One of those guys goes down. You're down to a cornerback playing safety.
Dr. Russ Warren taking a look. That's the end of quarter number 1. Eli Manning throwing a touchdown pass to Akeem Nicks. That's how the Giants have their 7-0 lead. Back in Foxborough, second quarter underway. George Wynn with a 6-yard carry. So the Patriots have a 2nd and 4 from their own 46-yard line. Ryan Mallett remains in the game. Wynn takes the handoff again, finds a crease, takes it into Giant territory and has a first down. Carl, Tom Coughlin said something interesting to us today about what he's looking for in his run defense.
Yeah, he talks about that arc, and he doesn't want to see the arc go this way. He wants the line to go this way to bowl the offense back. And Sean Rogers has been good in there for short spurts. We'll see with extended play how he holds up.
Yeah, Sean Rogers is going to get extended action. He's going to play in the first half and the second half. Mallett to throw. Pass incomplete. Prince got there early, and it's going to be a penalty on Prince Amukamara. And Carl, that was a pretty easy one as he went through the back of Kendrell Tompkins.
Yeah, he did. He came right through him. Prince kind of knows it too.
Thought he got away with one.
When it's a bang-bang play,
Pass
it
interference,
happens.
number 20, defense. First down.
Got there a couple steps before the ball. He's had a good camp, Prince Amukamara.
Got there early.
Playing with a lot of confidence, Prince is.
So first down for the Patriots at the Giants' 40-yard line. Giants bring pressure, and the Giants get to Ryan Mallett. Mike Patterson, who's been very good in this preseason, Carl, gets the sack.
Yeah, and Rivers was on that, and I'll tell you the impressive part about Rivers. You see he exploits the mismatch right there on the back and gets in on that play. When you call a blitz for a linebacker, he's got to win that battle, and that's a great job by Keith Rivers.
Loss of 10 on the play. Mike Patterson in his 9th year out of USC.
Guy who's battling for a job, hotly contested.
So it'll be 2nd and 20 for Mallett and the Patriots here in the second quarter. Terrell Thomas in the game for the Giants. Got a little screen set up to Sudfeld. And he gets chased down from behind at the 3-yard line. Big Sean Rogers on the tackle. Join the New York Giants for a new and exciting kickoff to the season Monday, September the 16th for the Big Blue Barbecue at MetLife Stadium. To benefit the Touchdown Fund, Score for Kids, Cardiac, and Cancer at Hackensack UMC Foundation. For more information, go to Giants.com. Always a fun event. Kick off the season.
Yes, it is. Good food, good people, good fun.
Yeah, they got a barbecue this year. That'll be fun. 3rd and 13 for Mallett. Has time. Fastball over the middle. He's got a first down as he's able to find Tompkins. The rookie Cooper Taylor getting his first action in the preseason made the tackle, but a little late.
Yeah, and that's Cooper Taylor not wanting to get beat deep, keeping everything in front of him. And when the cornerback squeezes that in, cut in, the safety's got to meet that point and be the cutoff guy. Taylor said, I don't want to get beat deep out here.
So it would look like it's on Webster, Carl, but the safety's got to drive on that, right?
Yeah.
So 1st and 10 Patriots. Win inside the 25. Sean Rogers active again, made the tackle. Mark Herzlich also there.
And it's worth pointing out where Sean Rogers made that tackle outside the numbers, and he's a guy that's in the center, over the center.
Sean Rogers, 350 pounds.
He's a guy who can actually dominate a game, and I knew in his prime he could. He took a year off last year, but he's showing he still has the makings of a domineering player.
Rogers, a 3-time Pro Bowler in his 13th year out of Texas. Mallett completes it. Missed tackle.
Nobody touched him still.
But Prince and Aaron Dobson has a first down. They spot him down at the 6.
That's a bad play by Prince, and Nakamura there dropped his head, and he's tries to pride himself on being a good physical tackler, and he dropped his head on that one and had a no-hitter.
So the Patriots with a 1st and goal at the Giants 6, trying to answer the Giants touchdown with one of their own. Win hit by Herzlich and then turned back by Broha after a gain of 2.
Looks like the Giants linebacking core is starting to round into shape. Is not as big a concern as it was in the first couple of weeks of the preseason. It looks like they've got a unit that's being very productive together.
Well, they've got Pasinger and Rivers still in the game. Herzlich's now in. Dan Connor is out. 2nd and goal from the 4. Boyce in motion. Mallett for Dobson. Intercepted by Prince Amukamara for a touchback.
Good play. He made up for the missed tackle and turned the ball over. That was good position all the way and played the ball at its highest point. That's a heck of a play.
Prince's 2nd pick of the preseason.
He did a good job there.
Created a wall and one went up and found it. Well, the Patriots' 82-yard drive, which spanned 12 plays, came to a halt as Prince Amukamara picked off Ryan Mallett in the end zone. Giants have shuffled their offensive line. Pugh remains in at the right tackle. They've got Brandon Mosley in at right guard. Jim Cordell is in at center. Tom Coughlin said that he wanted to keep James Brewer in the game at left guard and get him some more reps.
Where you almost have to with him and Pugh, guys who have to figure prominently into this offense, especially Pugh. He's got to get the reps. He's a rookie. He's got to see as many different things from a defensive player as possible leading into opening night.
Well, what they've done is they've moved Brewer to left tackle, number 73, and they've moved rookie 7th-round pick Eric Herman into the left guard spot. I think the delay here is that they're reviewing. All turnovers and scoring plays are subject to review. And obviously, did Prince Amukamara, when he made the interception,
did he maintain control?
Not just that, but did he, when he came down with the ball, did he land out of bounds?
That's a good point.
So referee Walt Anderson.
Wouldn't it be a little late on the review here? They allow the kickoff.
Well, it was just change of possession. It
Yeah.
was a touchback. But kind of the way they're discussing it, I kind of get the sense that they're going to put the ball back out at the
Let's see.
4-yard line. Prince has it. Control.
1 foot, 2 foot.
Did the hand touch out of bounds, Carl? Going
did
down.
the ball move? That was sort of, let's take a look at the ball. There's 2 feet down there. Hand, fingers out of bounds,
But did the right knee come down before the hand went down?
That's the question.
All right, so go ahead, give me a guess. What do you think?
I'm going to say it's an INT. Let's see. We'll see the feet. There's a hand.
After reviewing the play, the defender's left hand touched the sideline prior to 2 feet in bounds. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line.
So rather than the interception for Prince, Ryan Mallett and the Patriot offense comes back out on the field. So it'll be 3rd and goal at the 4. Couldn't tell. Evidently, they determined that Prince's left hand hit out of bounds before the right knee hit, because he did have the left foot down. So the interception is overturned. All turnovers and scoring plays are automatically reviewed. There's the hand.
Yeah.
And it looks like the right knee had not made contact yet with the ground. 3rd and goal for Mallett. Throws the slant, batted away by Corey Webster, but a flag on Webster. Interfering with Kendrell Tompkins.
Let's see if there was contact prior to him knocking the ball
Pass
down.
interference, number 23, defense.
Boy, it looked like good coverage unless he had some jersey in his other hand. Let's take a look here. Boy, I don't see it. If there's another angle.
Corey Webster thought he made a good play.
It looked good. Always got to look at that backhand.
So now it's 1st and goal for the Patriots. At the 1. Win the tailback, takes the handoff, plows to the end zone, and a touchdown, Patriots. So after the Prince Amukamara interception was overturned because of replay, and then on the 3rd down stop by Corey Webster, pass interference, Patriots get another life, and they convert.
There's one on a quick count. Boy, somebody missed him right in the hole there. I don't know who that was.
That was Mark Herzlich.
No, it was someone prior to Herzlich.
Brohoff, 54.
May have been. He was right there in the hole. He ran right by him.
So Gostkowski on for the extra point. A 14-play, 86-yard drive with a review in the middle of it. Gostkowski's extra point is good. So Bill Belichick and the Patriots tie this game up at 7 apiece. On the run by George Wynn. Giants fans tuned in to MSG Network all season long. We're a weekly lineup of Giants programming and the premiere of 1st and 10. It's a new hour, 1-hour show in which we'll get you all set for the Giants and the 10 things you need to know about their upcoming game. We'll also make sure you tune in to My 9 all season long. We bring the Giants Access Blue Saturday nights, and then the Giants post-game live right after every Giants game. So a full season of Giants programming on MSG and My 9. Prince Amukamara thought he had a highlight with an interception, but that left hand ruled out of bounds. Patriots then get a Corey Webster pass interference as Michael Cox ready to return the kickoff from Steve Gostkowski. Cox with the speed to get to the outside and avoids one of the defenders and takes it out to the 34-yard line. Marquise Cole finally got him out of bounds, so the Giants will have good field position.
Yeah, here's Cox. He's such a powerful runner, 230 pounds, but he has some moves here to ability to make some guys miss right there with the spin move. Here's a guy that's on the coach's radar screen. He's having a 4th game special. the one that'll keep him on the roster for the rest of the year.
A good return of 38 yards. Ryan Nassib in at quarterback for the Giants. Brandon Myers was in motion, come set. Andre Brown on a 1st and 10. Nowhere to go, and he's going to lose a couple of yards as we check in with Bruce Beck.
Hey, Bob, Tyler Sash has a concussion, so the injury woes to the Giants secondary continue. Stevie Brown, we know, is out for the year. Antrell Roll back tonight. Jaron Hosley injured in the last game, and now Sash goes out with a concussion. One positive note is Terrell Thomas playing a 2nd straight game and looking good.
Yeah, so Tyler Sash shaken up, and we're going to get a false start against the Giants. Brandon Myers.
Number 83, offense.
So after the Giants lose 3 on 1st down, now a 5-yard penalty.
Well, you had both tight ends involved in negative plays on that first run. Bear Pascal got blown back into the backfield, and Myers comes in and commits a foul.
See Jernigan, Randall, Lewis Murphy Jr., the wide receivers on this 2nd and long. Brandon Myers signed as a free agent from the Raiders. Draw for Brown. Andre Brown out to about the 33-yard line. Picks up 7 on the play.
Now this is interesting with the quarterbacks here, the battle for the backup. Each guy's going to get 2 series, kind of like here's your 2 series, show us what you got, and then the next guy comes in.
Yeah, and Tom Coughlin did not rule out the fact that, Nassib could re-enter the game later. 3rd and 11 for the Giants from the 33. Nassib's going to get sacked back at the 25-yard line. There's a meeting at the quarterback.
Yeah, and that's why Pugh is still in the game, so he can see this stuff. They came right around the Giants. Let's take a look here. Both edges.
Brewer
gets collapsed. Brewer gets collapsed. Pugh actually did a pretty good job of running his guy past the quarterback.
Michael Buchanan gets the sack. He ran right around James Brewer.
Yep.
So Weatherford punt the football away. Leon Washington. Leon Washington into Giant territory to the 40-yard line.
This guy that made the many Pro Bowls doing those.
Saw the patience of Leon Washington. Just sort of waited. 57-yard punt, 43-yard return.
Yeah.
His offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride talking with his quarterbacks. They look at the Polaroids, pre-snap read, and the Polaroid shot is taken right as the snap happened so they could see what the defense was doing. 7-7 here in the 2nd. And the Patriots will start in Giants territory. Mallett to throw. Mallett looking for Boyce. Boyce has got it. Touchdown. Terrell Thomas stumbled and Boyce ran by him.
Yeah, now the Giants were trying to get some pressure there. Mallett had a lot of time, and you can see Thomas almost give up on the play as if this ball's not coming. And when it's time to pick it back up again, he stumbled. Mallett stayed away for a long time. Thomas stumbles. Great throw, great catch. See, Mallett went to the complete opposite side of the field before he decided to let that one go. It was a slow developing play.
40-yard touchdown pass to the rookie 4th-round pick out of TCU, Josh Boyce. His first touchdown of the preseason. The Patriots have the lead. Gostkowski's extra point is good. So the big kickoff return by Leon Washington of 43 yards. And then the Patriots go up top to Josh Boyce for the touchdown, and New England in front 14-7. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is brought to you by Ticketmaster, the NFL ticket exchange powered by Ticketmaster, the official resale marketplace of the Giants. Great look at the statue of Samuel Adams in downtown Boston. So many great things to see in Boston. Eli Manning's night is done. Manning 6 of 9, 74 yards and a touchdown pass to Akeem Nicks. Patriots with a 14-7 lead over the Giants here in the final preseason game of 2013 for these two teams. Gostkowski with the kick. Michael Cox on the return. Cox again gets it out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Well, 1 week from tonight, the NFL season begins as the defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens travel to Denver to take on the Broncos. Then Sunday, September the 8th, Sunday Night Football. Eli Manning, Tony Romo, Giants, Cowboys here on NBC4 New York. Can't wait. 1 week from tonight, Carl, it all begins.
Yeah, kickoff. What all the fans have been waiting for. They set their fantasy rosters.
Nassib to throw on a first down. Nassib completes it to Ruben Randall. Marquise Cole on the tackle at the 32-yard line. Gain of 5. Ryan Nassib 3 of 10 for 30 yards in the preseason.
Trying to make his mark, learning this game, and he's got Jim Cordell there at center, who's trying to get more valuable experience himself.
2nd and 5. Andre Brown fights his way for first down yardage, and I think he got it. Picked up about 6 on the play. New faces brought to you by Ford. Find out more about your tri-state Ford dealers. Call ** Ford NY from your mobile device. Message and data rates may apply. And Carl, some of the young guys, Demontre Moore hasn't been able to play since that first preseason game.
Boy, yeah, he's kind of evaporated here in the minds of the coaches. He's just not on the field. He showed so much promise early in camp, which, you know, gave them visions. That's a great catch. Visions of having great depth in the pass rush game. But you know, Coach Coughlin often talks, you know, in a frustrated tone about not having guys out there to practice, especially young guys, so that they can, you know, really get the experience and prove that they belong on the field.
Yeah, Ruben Randall with a nice catch. When we brought up Jarrell Jernigan, that was one of the areas of frustration. Can he be there every day for practice? And he mentioned that that's what he had told his team as Andre Brown takes it off the right side to the 44-yard line. Gain of 7 on the play. For more on that, let's check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, it's so important for these guys to be at practice because they have eliminated the contact practice. So most of the practices are mental. So mentally, you got to be ready to play and get these practices and walkthroughs. No pads. It's going to be tough.
The new rules of the NFL and trying to keep guys safe. What ends up happening, you almost set an environment for a guy who's not self-motivated, and you get a nick to say he can't go. You know, and you got to have guys, and it's universal around the league. You have guys that you really like to see kind of tough through the nagging things, and they don't. They just say, I'm going to wait till I'm 100%, and you know, it kind of stunts your own growth and your development. And coaches are going to now start to draft, and GM just draft smart guys. If there's a guy you got to develop and he's not quite up to speed, may, you know, kind of deter them from selecting him. You can't develop your players like you could in the past.
Brandon Myers got called for the last penalty, his second. The pass intended for Randall, but the timing was off. And Tom Coughlin giving Brandon Myers an earful as he walks off. Went right up to him, and that's the kind of stuff that you just can't have.
No, you can't.
You know, and he said to us, you know, look, the guys that make the team, I try to stress to them, all 53, you have to practice. And I think that's one of the things that he wants to make sure. He's got guys on his team that are going to practice. Jernigan can't run under that one. Marquise Cole with a nice play.
Yeah, that one was underthrown into the inside. He's got to lead him over the outside shoulder.
Marquise Cole in his 5th year out of Northwestern with a nice play.
You see Nassib here lays the ball out, but he's got to put that more to the outside. That one gave the defensive back a chance to get an arm on it. Drop it over the shoulder.
So Weatherford to punt. Leon Washington back deep. Washington with a fair catch at the 7-yard line. Well, that's where the Patriots and Ryan Mallett will take over 1st and 10 here in the second. New England in front 14-7. Save the date. Join Coach Coughlin for his annual Champions for Children Gala Friday, October the 25th at Cipriani, 42nd Street, New York City. For more information, go to tcjfund.org or call 212-627-1000. Coach Coughlin done a wonderful job with the J Fund, not only in the New York metropolitan area, down in Jacksonville as well. Raised a lot of money. That is always a fun night. 1st and 10. Handoff win. The Giants get to the football quickly. Justin Tratto on the tackle.
Another guy who they see a lot in practice, who needs to really earn a spot here on the roster again. He's shown some flashes. That's a good job there, maintaining contain, coming off the block and making the tackle.
Yeah, got off the block of Marcus Cannon pretty easily.
Good arm extension, good leverage.
Second and 11. Pass batted by Terrell Thomas, who came on a corner blitz.
That's a good job by Thomas too, but you know you can't get to the quarterback. Stop and get your hands up and knock it down. He's coming scot-free, knows he can't get there. Leaps up, knocks it down.
So it'll be 3rd and 11 for Mallett and the Patriots. Giants have Tremaine McBride in at one of the corners along with Aaron Ross.
Giants haven't shown much blitz this game. The first 3 games, Perry Field was showing a lot of blitz looks. This time he wants to see who can cover.
Mallett underneath. Flag on the play as he completes it to Boyce. Carl, I think
it's an offensive pick.
Yeah, I think that might have been a pick play because Boyce sprung free pretty quickly.
It's interference. Number 17, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd down.
That's Aaron Dobson, the rookie wide receiver out of Marshall.
Yeah, he set a wall there. You'll see the pick.
And he just ran Terrell Thomas right out of there. Started blocking before the receiver caught the ball. So it'll be 3rd and 15 from the 3. Win on the handoff, and he runs right into, it was Jaquan Williams who made the tackle. A gain of 2, and the Patriots will have to punt.
Good play by Jaquan Williams, who's probably the best cover linebacker they have, and he's shown really good signs of being an every down player. He's there, sheds a few blocks and makes the tackle. They could really use him if he can stay on the field for more than just 1 down, because he's so fast. If he can just really get the ins and outs of the blocking assignments and things of that nature, he'll be a major asset with his speed. For a 3rd down linebacker, he can do that well.
So Zoltan Mesko getting set to punt, lines up in the back of his end zone. Charles James awaiting the punt. See if the Giants can get a good return out of this. Knuckleball for James. Went airborne and gets tackled at the 30-yard line. Well, it's the return of Notre Dame Saturday. Following last year's undefeated regular season, the Fighting Irish kick off the new season at home against Temple in South Bend. Notre Dame Saturday coverage begins at 3 Eastern, only on NBC.
Another good showing by James there. He's, again, promising guys that really want to say, I can solidify this with a good performance today.
David Carr in at quarterback for the Giants after the 13-yard return. Carr gets hit. Ball is loose. Live ball picked up by the Patriots.
Again,
Steve Boharnis, the rookie out of Rutgers, by way of Saddlebrook, New Jersey.
And it's James Brewer again, who was in charge of that turnstile. You'll see
Left tackle.
right here. Gets run right around him.
Yep.
Let him hit the quarterback. He's ticket, please. Nope. Jumps the turnstile and takes his quarterback down. You will have a hard time staying on the field for Tom Coughlin if you can't block better than that.
Michael Buchanan got the sack, and Steve Boharnis, who's a rookie out of Rutgers, a 7th-round pick, grew up in Saddlebrook, New Jersey, gets the fumble recovery. And the Patriots turn the Giants over. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Mallett remains in at quarterback. Leon Washington picks up a couple. David Caldwell, the safety at the bottom of the pile, made the tackle. 3 minutes to go. And James Brewer, Carl, you know, he's gotten work at guard, originally projected as a tackle. And he struggled on a couple of plays here, beaten handily.
Yeah.
He's a 3rd-year player out of Indiana. He was a 4th-round pick.
Value. Coach Coughlin talked about, are you of value? He may be a value on the inside of their offensive line, but if they need depth, there's a turnover.
Herzlich with the interception. Carl, Tremaine McBride was on the coverage. He knocked the ball out of Dobson's hands, and then the old tip drill came into play.
Yeah, now McBride's a guy who's a special teamer who's now showing he's got more value than just that of a special teamer. And then tip drill, good job by Mark Herzlich.
McBride pulled it out. Herzlich gets the interception.
So the Giants return the favor with a turnover.
Clean interception for Herzlich.
2 turnovers in as many weeks for Mark Herzlich.
So Herzlich gets the pick. 1st and 10 Giants. At the 35, Andre Brown, shoulder down at the 32. Picks up about 3 on the play with 2.5 to go here in the 1st half. Marcus Fortson on the tackle.
You know, in this defense, they've shown some consistency this entire preseason, Bob. They were much maligned, and justifiably so, but the defensive line really seems to be reinvigorated, energized. They want to play physical football.
Jarrell Jernigan with the catch. Did he get enough yardage for the 1st down? Looks like he's about a ½ yard short. 14-7 Patriots in the 2nd. Tonight's game on NBC for New York is fueled by Hess. Legendary statue of Red Auerbach, longtime Celtics head coach. I was a kid watching Red on Round Ball.
Yeah. Part of some really, really great dynasty building.
Back in Foxborough, 3rd and 1 for the Giants, and David Carr. Eli Manning started. Ryan Nassib got a couple series. Now Carr in. Andre Brown has the 1st down to the 23-yard line. Time for the out-of-town scores, brought to you by Geico. And the Jets lead Philadelphia 10-5. Matt Sims, 21 of 27 for 185 yards. Good for Matt. It's not 22 of 25 like Phil in the Super Bowl.
Let me just tell you something. They can act like they don't see his performance. He's been their best quarterback
New England, 30 seconds
in the offseason. So they're going to have to acknowledge him.
All right, Washington leads Tampa 26, but here's the real concern here. Andre Brown, they're looking at his leg on that run. Dr. Warren taking a look at it.
And he had a broken one last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, Andre Brown, who's such an important figure as far as the Giant running game is concerned. especially with the pass protection. Very important as David Wilson continues to come along. I mean, Andre Brown is the veteran guy of the group.
Yeah, and they're going to need a second back.
Adrian Robinson was taken to the locker room. Tyler Sash suffered a concussion. 1st and 10 for Carr. Carr will just run it, and he'll slide to safety at the 16-yard line. Carr, we're going to take a look back at the play in which Andre Brown got nicked up. The Giants going no huddle here first. 2nd and 3 for Carr. Terrain in the backfield now. Carr's pass batted and incomplete. Carl, let's take a look at the Andre Brown injury.
There's Brown here. A little fullback lead play. He cuts back. Doesn't look like he got any contact to the knee other than being tackled there, unless something twisted. Hope it's not another one of those non-contact deals, which is never good news.
He's going to take an early walk to the locker room. 3rd and 4. Draw for Ryan Terrain. Timing was all messed up and not able to get the yard to gain. Giants head coach Tom Coughlin will call a timeout as Andre Brown is slowly making his way to the Giants locker room.
He's trying to put weight on that left leg there. He's still got a visible limp though. Boy, the Giants surely have their fingers crossed that this is nothing serious.
Well, the injury bug has obviously been a factor in this preseason. We've talked about the fact that they've started now 4 different versions of an offensive line. Obviously, you got the Victor Cruz, Stevie Brown being lost for the year last week in a non-contact situation off an interception. As Josh Brown comes in to try a field goal, Brown 11 of 13 here in the preseason. 35-yard attempt with Weatherford to hold. Snap is clean, and Brown's got it centered up. And the Giants get 3 with 1:02 to go here in the first half, and the Patriot lead is 14-10.
You know, injuries is such a way of life in football, and they'll never be eliminated. But, you know, I guess the downside to some of the safety rules is that, you know, the practices are not full contact, so the first full contact comes on game day, which sometimes shocks the system. Each and every week, you got to get the body ready for that, when in the past the body comes into games ready for it.
Well, Sunday night here on NBC4 New York. Make sure you join us for Mike Up. Bruce Beck will be joined by former Jets general manager Mike Tannenbaum to preview the upcoming NFL season. It's Mic'd Up immediately following News 4 New York Sunday night. Giants 7 plays 30 yards, 35-yard field goal for Josh Brown. No field time for Tom Brady tonight for the Patriots.
I had a feeling he wasn't going to play when I saw him out there conditioning with all the other guys prior to the team coming out.
Josh Brown getting set. Kickoff. Jonathan Haggerty back deep for New England. Brown's been really good with the kickoffs in the preseason. Another touchback. So the Patriots will start at the 20-yard line. Take a look at the Giants' schedule. Of course, they open up on a Sunday night here on NBC4 New York in Dallas. Then it's the Manning Bowl, September the 15th at MetLife Stadium. Home opener against the Broncos. Then trips to Carolina and Kansas City, followed by the Eagles, and a Thursday night game in Chicago. Then Minnesota at home. The Giants are at Philadelphia before their bye. And obviously in the second half of the year, a couple of Sunday night games with Green Bay and obviously at Washington. And Robert Griffin III and the Redskins. Mallett under pressure from Broha. Flag flies as the pass is incomplete, intended for Leon Washington.
Broha was able to draw a penalty flag on that one.
Holding number 74, offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Wills Vitek called for the penalty.
Let's see. Get Broha here, getting the edge. Right there he is. He's able to draw the penalty, gets the corner and gets pulled down there.
Tug on the front of the jersey and shoulder pads, and now the Patriots will just take a kneel down with under a minute to go here in the first half. Broha's another guy in each of the last 2 preseasons that has done well. Last year he had 9 tackles and 3.5 sacks in the preseason. He's made his presence felt, but that's a pretty deep defensive line for the Giants.
Well, yeah, and then when you have your rookie Moore, who's not practicing, he's getting more opportunities, and he's going to try to make his impression on the coaches here. He knows it's a long shot at times, but we'll see.
Mallett will take another knee, and that'll be the final play of the first half. Well, the Giants starting offense was on the field for 3 series. They finally got it going. A 91-yard drive. Manning firing a touchdown pass to Akeem Nicks. Some injury concerns, though, with Andre Brown, Adrian Robinson, and Tyler Sash injured in this first half. Hopefully for those guys, not as severe. License plate guys here. Antrell Roll back in the lineup. Mark Herzlich with a pick. Manning to Nicks and a touchdown strike. Patriots lead the Giants. Back at Gillette Stadium, the Patriots lead the Giants 14-10. New York Giants preseason football here on NBC 4 New York. All right, Carl. First team offense was in for 3 series, but they end with a 91-yard drive and a Manning to Nicks touchdown pass.
Well, I think that's the most encouraging drive of the preseason here. So building on that is a really good sign, and I'm sure a sign of comfort for Tom Coughlin.
What about some of these injuries? Tyler Sash, a concussion, Adrian Robinson taken off, and then we saw Andre Brown limp off at the end of the first half.
Well, the safety position gets thin for at least the first month of the season with Will Hill going out on suspension. So you really want to try to have as many people as possible available. Then the tight end position, got to look at that. The running back, though, is the one that I'm sure is the biggest concern right now.
Yeah, now here in the second half, I know people don't get crazy about the game, and there's a lot of backup guys in there, but you know what, Carl? This is fun because here's where some guys are going to get a chance to make the team. And Tom Coughlin told us that last night they tell the guys about guys that make it in the last game.
Well, you look at Michael Cox is a guy who seems to be making a great impression. A lot of other guys going to be looking to do the same thing. Last chance to make a big impression.
Carl, what about your birthday today, huh? You enjoying it?
I am having a good time. Anytime I get a chance to broadcast with you, Bob, it's my birthday every time.
Yeah, I mean, a little way to celebrate your birthday. So you know what? Our crew made sure that we took care of you here. And
how
Carl,
about that?
Look at this. A little birthday cake for Carl. Happy birthday, Carl, in the form of a football. Famous 58. Carl Banks' birthday. All right, you got a wish?
I got a wish. Many more of these.
All right. There you go. Yeah, many more.
There we go.
I want to, whoa.
Don't drop it.
Listen, no turnovers. Coughlin will cut you as well.
There
Charles
we go.
James bobbled the punt there. I know chocolate. You like, look at it. Carl's getting a little icing in.
Yeah, we're going to taste that as soon as we get off camera here.
Well, Tom Coughlin is not, he's not ready for any icing on the cake at this point. He wants to see this team finish things off. And moments ago, Coach Coughlin spoke with Bruce Beck.
Tom, you got your offense going. That's what you wanted. What did you think of the first team offense?
Well, with 2 series that didn't look that good, brought it down and scored. So from that standpoint, we got in the end zone, hopefully a little confident.
What about your defense overall? How do you assess it?
Well, we made some plays. We did. We stopped them a couple of times. They moved the ball on us, which they hit the one down the sideline, which looked like there was a little almost fall down deal there. So it's right out here now. It's 14-10. We got a hell of a chance.
Okay, thanks, Coach. All right, that's Coach Tom Coughlin heading out to the field, handing me back my flair. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Bob.
All right, and the second half is underway. And the Patriots are going to run it out with Justin Green. And Green gets to the 15-yard line and gets tackled by Kyle Bosworth. Here comes Tim Tebow, who's expected to play the rest of the ball game. Tim Tebow, drafted in the first round out of the University of Florida in 2010 by Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, who was the head coach. Spent a nondescript year with the Jets. You see, just 6 of 8 for 39 yards. He had 10 rushes for 61 yards. It was just a lost year for Tebow after the Jets traded for him.
Doesn't look like they're putting anything special in for him in the preseason. He's going to have to make the team running the offense.
Tebow's first pass complete to Dobson. Tackled by Terrell Thomas at the 20-yard line. So it's a gain of 5 on Tebow's first pass play of the night.
Yeah, good play there, throwing to his left. He gets knocked down there as he's delivering the ball.
Accuracy has been a problem for Tebow in his career. Even when he had the big year a couple of years ago with Denver, in 11 starts, he completed just 47% of his passes. Tebow gives it off for Wynn off the right side, and he powers his way for a first down at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, and that's not the arc that Coach Coughlin's looking for his defense. They really collapsed on the left side of that line.
Well, Mike Patterson and Sean Rogers are in at the defensive tackles. You see Jaquan Williams and Bosworth, the linebackers for the Giants. Broha at one defensive end, Adrian Tracy at the other defensive end for Tom Coughlin's Giants. Cooper Taylor in as one of the safeties with Will Hill. On a 1st and 10, Tebow just flicks it out to his tight end Daniel Fells, former teammate in Denver, and that's a gain of 11 and a first down.
Tebow showing command of the offense. He's 2 completions here. He looks like he's under control and poised when he delivers the football.
That's about as easy as completion as you're going to get, John. Carl.
Well, you got to set him up, and he did a good job with it. I'm sure a big run prior to that play helped.
Wynn turns the corner and makes positive yardage out of the play. For more on Tim Tebow, we check in with Howard Cross.
Guys, notice that Tebow's throwing the ball 5 yards out. That second play he threw was just into the flat. Nice rollout with kind of a naked boot. He's not going to throw the ball downfield. That's the way he's going to prove that he can be on the team. Don't look for long passes. If he throws one long, that's when we'll see a little excitement.
Yeah, it will be exciting one way or the other.
Tim Tebow in his 4th year out of Florida. Under pressure, he's going to get sacked. Sean Rogers at the bottom of that pile for the Giants.
Now it's interesting, a guy with Rogers' experience is still in the game, and I think as they got him running off here, let's take a look. There he is in the middle of the defense, moving that arc this way. But it's interesting, a guy with his experience in the league still playing. It's because they want him to get the stamina. I'm sure they're going to keep him on somewhat of a pitch count during the season, but he's got to get the stamina in case they need him to go.
Tom Coughlin said that we want to, have Rogers play in the 3rd quarter. Pressure, Broha with the sack on Tebow. So back-to-back sacks for the Giants, and the Patriots will have to punt the football away. So Matt Broha, again, he makes plays, just don't know if there's enough room at the end.
Well, you got to make room at the end, and these types of plays right there are the ones that catch the coach's attention and say, look, if he can play special teams, he has value. Beat someone else out.
Mesko to punt. James from his own 28 got tripped up at the 32-yard line. So the Giants will have their first look at offense here in the 3rd. Matt Broha with the sack. Patriots by 4. Curtis Painter, 4th quarterback used by the Giants tonight, gets his first look of the evening as the Giants start from their own 33-yard line. Ryan Terrain picks his way up the middle, takes it out to the 37-yard line. It's a gain of 4 on the play.
Good vision there by Terrain, making the first guy miss.
Well, Ryan Terrain, a fifth-year pro out of Arizona State, 27 years of age, and in a battle. Terrell Scott has been nicked up a little bit in the preseason. The rookie Michael Cox has done well on special teams. Painter in a shotgun set on this second down. Patriots bring pressure. Painter over the middle. Larry Donnell with the catch. Lost the football, but he's ruled down at midfield. It was scooped up by Julian Talley, but he was down on the play. It's first down Giants at midfield.
He extended the ball, and then all of a sudden it pops out.
Nice job by Painter with some pressure.
Yeah.
And he is down, hits the ground, and the ball popped out. So it'll be first and 10 Giants at midfield. Painter, Talley can't reel it in at the 45-yard line. Hey, Giants fans, be sure to tune into MSG Network all season long. Weekly lineup of Giants programming, including the premiere of Giants First and 10, plus Giants Rewind, Giants Press Conference Live, and Giants Chronicles. Then tune into My 9 all season long. Giants Access Blue every Saturday night, and the Giants post-game show live following every Giants game. Second and 10 for Painter and the Giants. Terrain takes on Dane Fletcher, picks up 3 to the Patriots' 47-yard line. That'll set up 3rd and 7 for the Giants. More on Ryan Terrain. Howard Cross has some to add. Howard?
Guys, with the injury to Brown, this is Terrain's great opportunity here just to show that he can actually pick up the blitz, run the ball, make some cuts. They know that he doesn't have the best line in front of him, so everything he does right now is going to give him a chance to be on the field against the Cowboys.
Rookie Justin Pugh remains in at right tackle. Brewer is still at left guard. Cordell the center. Mosley the right guard. Painter with some time. Painter has Talley. Talley has a first down to the Patriots' 36-yard line.
I tell you, they brought some speed at Pugh, and he was able to ride his man to the ground. Good. This is the type of reps he needs just to get ready for opening day.
Flag on the play, so we'll check the flag. Talley down at the 36-yard line.
Hands to the face, number 41, defense.
Penalty on the Patriots. The Giants will decline it. Justin Green, a rookie free agent out of Illinois, called for the penalty. No, Painter's done a nice job here in the preseason, Carl, even with some of the pressure of moving around enough to create some passing lanes.
Well, he's also created a legitimate competition for the number 2 spot as well in doing so.
Terrain, the tailback, on a 1st and 10. Terrain tries to get to the edge, picks up a yard or 2, and that gets closed down fast. Ryan Terrain is 27 years of age, a 5th-round pick of the Broncos in 2008. Played in 2 games with the Giants last year.
Brought in as an emergency back when they had a rash of injuries.
2 years ago, he started 4 of 8 for the Redskins and had 200 yards rushing in 59 attempts. Second and 9. Terrain again. Good vision by Terrain there. Good contact inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on the play. Sets up a manageable 3rd down for the Giants. Stephen Gooden in at the left guard spot, number 79. He is a practice squad player from last year out of Nebraska Kearney.
Got to show that he learned something while he was developing on the practice squad.
3rd and 3 from the Patriots 29. Donnell the motion man. Terrain takes the toss, no blocking.
That was a jailbreak there.
And just nowhere to go. Patriots converged on it nicely. And it got shut down in a hurry.
Let's take a look here. Pugh's peeling off, and there's a wave of blue shirts that come and a lot of white shirts on the ground.
Marcus Forston was one of the first to make contact. So Josh Brown made a 35-yard field goal in for a 48-yard field goal from the right hash. Got plenty of leg, and he gets it inside the left upright, and good. So with 7:08 to go here in the third, the Giants pull within one on the Josh Brown field goal. Final preseason game on NBC4 New York. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is fueled by Hess. Welcome back to Giants preseason football on NBC4 New York. The sideline report with Bruce Beck, brought to you by the New York Lottery. Bruce?
Bob, we're still waiting for an update on Andre Brown, who went into the locker room for x-rays on his leg. No word yet. By the way, David Carr is not the only Carr playing tonight. His brother Derek plays for Fresno State. They're taking on Rutgers at 10:30 p.m. Derek was the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year last year, but he'll be hard-pressed to pass David, who as a senior at Fresno State with the Bulldogs, had 46 touchdown passes and only 9 picks, en route to becoming the #1 pick in the NFL. Back to you and the birthday boy, Carl.
All right, Bruce. And yeah, David was referring to the fact that he went to one of his brother's practices, and he said the college game, as far as the passing concepts, have gotten so much more complex from when David was in college.
Well, yeah, and the defenses haven't really caught up yet, and that's why I think when you have these really creative minds on the offense, got to match them defensively.
Tebow on a 1st and 10 from the 20. That pass batted away by Aaron Ross, intended for Aaron Dobson. Good break on the ball by Ross.
Yeah, it was. Ross is still in the game and getting the extra reps himself.
Terrell Thomas also in the game. Will Hill is in at safety along with David Caldwell. As we take a look at the play by Ross again, stepping in front of Dobson.
Yeah, you're not going to fool many experienced corners when you're staring down your intended target that Tebow did there.
Bosworth, Jaquan Williams, and Herzlich, the linebackers for the Giants. Tebow under pressure. He's going to get sacked for a 3rd time. Inside the 15-yard line.
So he came around the corner.
Tretteau
again. There he is.
Justin Tretteau from Don Bosco Prep with the sack. More on Tim Tebow. Here's Howard Cross.
Guys, that's what's been classically wrong with Tebow. He has to wait for the receiver to get open instead of throwing the ball, anticipating the route. He waited for his receiver to turn around before he released the ball, giving Ross a chance to break it up.
Game speed and anticipation, the complexities of playing quarterback in the NFL.
3rd and 15. Ajomo chasing Tebow, and he brings him down at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, he's disoriented now, Tim Tebow. He doesn't quite know what he wants to do with it. Spinning out, he's locked in on a receiver. Nope, not there. Let me whirly bird out of it. And
he's been sacked 4 times, Carl, in his 2 series.
Disoriented. He's got to show a little more command now.
Zoltan Mesko to punt.
Throw that ball away. You don't want to run that.
Good high punt. Flag on the play as James avoids defenders, and James skips to the Patriot 25-yard line. But there's a lot of laundry on the field. But a nice return by Charles James. Again, congratulations from Tom Coughlin. A little handshake. How about that?
It's a sign of good things. Field position is very important. He talked about the punt return team. He knew that Cox could change field position out of the kickoff return, and he wanted to see it out of the punt team, and James has given it to him.
Yeah, he was a little disappointed in talking with Tom Coughlin about what the Giants have done as far as punt return. Here's Walt Anderson.
Number 44, the kicking team, went out of bounds on his own. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. It'll be 1st down New York.
All right, so the penalty was on the Patriots, so the return by James stands. 46-yard punt.
And the return, we'll get the numbers on, but That's one of the lost stats when you look at offensive productivity is starting field position. Here he is. Makes one guy miss. Good blocks up front. Follows his wall, makes another guy miss.
Painter, handoff Darrell Scott. Darrell Scott tackled at the 10 after the 31-yard return by Charles James to put the Giants in great field position.
Now Darrell Scott is a guy with a lot of speed. He's been nicked up, really hasn't had a real good full season, but you can see the speed here. And the hole opens up, he gets it, accelerates through, and he's got those legs moving. His first preseason game back, he fell down at every little touch. He's showing some power now.
Donnell in motion.
There he is again.
Darrell Scott to the goal line, touchdown Giants.
Good power running, Coach. You give me whatever reps you want. I'm going to show you I belong here.
Well, Tom Coughlin said going into this game, he wanted some players to change his mind.
That's impressive there. He didn't have a lot to change his mind early on. He missed preseason, but look at this power. Watch him power through there with speed.
Nice block by Donnell too, huh?
Yep, and he didn't go down with the first contact like he did in the Pittsburgh game.
And Talley also got a late block there. They're going to review. Is he down? I don't think that's a touchdown, Carl. I think that knee came down before that ball broke the plane.
Nevertheless, it's a good run.
All scoring plays are reviewed. So does Darrell Scott have a touchdown, or do the Giants have it 2nd and goal to 1? We'll find out after this. All right, birthday boy, does Darrell Scott break the plane before the knee hits?
Well, let's take a look at the knee. When it hits the ground here, where's the ball? Is it going in that direction?
He is down.
He is down.
Not going to be a touchdown for Darrell Scott.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down by contact short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. The game clock will start on my signal.
So it'll be 2nd and goal, as Darrell Scott did not break the plane. Scott remains in the ball game. Bear Pascal the fullback. Curtis Painter the quarterback. I believe the Giants are going to get called for a false start.
Wow, and Scott was tasting that one.
5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Take a look.
Larry Donnell. Yep, flinched right there.
That's another guy Coach Coughlin wants to see more from. And
well, mental mistakes.
Yeah. Short yardage plays. Go from goal to goal to 4th and goal. 4 yards to go.
And now 2nd and goal at the 6 for Painter. Little screen to Scott. Scott to the goal line. This time he broke the plane for the touchdown.
Punctuates the drive. He says, Coach, I can run it. I can catch it. I can block. Talk about a guy who's most improved over 3 games. I would give that ribbon to Darrell Scott. That's impressive running there. He is. Jumps out there, catches the screen pass. He's running with power. Look at him.
And that time he was making sure he wasn't going down to break the plane.
Sets up the screen very, very nice.
So the Giants have the lead with 4:23 to go in the 3rd. Extra point by Josh Brown is good. So the good punt return by Charles James, and then Darrell Scott. Little screen pass gets the touchdown for the Giants. Now Darrell Scott with a 6-yard touchdown catch on a screen. His chances of making the Giants might have just improved dramatically. Being reported by the Giants that running back Andre Brown has suffered a broken left leg. Carl.
Wow.
Here's the play on a power run, and his left leg, same leg that he broke last year, is broken again. So injuries, the Achilles injury as a rookie with the Giants, bounced around from 7 or 8 teams, back with the Giants last year, and now Andre Brown, another broken leg. So now that adds intrigue to the Giants depth chart. And as far as the running back position, Justin Green on the return. Out across the 20-yard line, Kyle Bosworth and Adrian Tracy in on the tackle. 4:19 to go in the third. Giants in front, 20-14. Tonight's game on NBC4 New York is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Giants. Ticketmaster, the NFL ticket exchange, powered by Ticketmaster, the official resale marketplace of the Giants. And by MetLife. Check out MetLifeCentral.com for great prizes. Great look at Boston. You see Darrell Scott, Ryan Terrain on the Giants bench. Michael Cox, the rookie, with an opportunity to make this team behind David Wilson. The horrible news that a broken leg for Andre Brown. And it happened late in the first half. And Carl Banks, now you take a look at
number 98.
Adrian Tracy call for offside on the Giants, 5-yard penalty. But now when you look at these young guys, I mean, Andre Brown was the guy that was helping the other guys understand the protections. Do the Giants maybe look to scan the waiver wire on Saturday, see if a veteran guy got let go?
The veteran guy will still have to learn the protections as well. So I think, you know, these auditions begin in the rest of this game. You'll start to see.
Nice snap for Tebow, and he's going to run it. Tebow has been sacked 5 times. Mark Herzlich with the tackle. 4 sacks Tebow's taken in now 11 plays or 10 plays. The last play prior to this was a penalty.
He's a guy, it's going to be interesting if he's done enough in camp to earn a roster spot, because his actual game play hasn't, I don't think, inspired a coach to say he's my guy.
Patriots run the end around of the rookie Josh Boyce. Gets it out to the 37, gain of 3.
Yeah, it was a good job by the left defensive end. I don't know if that's Tracy, who that is, but got up the field and turned that back into the help.
Caldwell made the tackle for the Giants. Jonathan Hankins in the ball game at defensive tackle, number 74. Rookie 2nd-round pick out of Ohio State. Broha and Tracy are the ends. 2nd down for Tebow. Completes it to Fells. Tackled by Herzlich at the 40. It's a gain of 3 on the play.
Mark Herzlich getting some valuable reps. Going to be counted on in some situations here this year.
He has 7 tackles tonight.
So tackling machine when he went to college up in this area before his cancer incident.
What a tremendous story of the fact that Herzlich's even playing professional football. 3rd down for Tebow. He's going to run it. Tebow's not going to get it. He'll be a yard short. Caldwell, Austin, Hankins all converged on Tebow to stop him short of the 1st down.
Yeah, and that's what he does well, and he didn't do it well on that one. He wants him to go for it. A shotgun quarterback draw. Good job by Austin getting his man pushed back, and there's Hankins on the play.
Yeah.
Could have been a fumble. That
yeah,
was a fumble.
Looked like Caldwell pulled that ball out before Tebow was down. Ryan Allen punts that football away, and he boots it out of bounds away from Charles James. They'll spot it out at the 8-yard line. Well, 1 week from tonight, the NFL season begins with the defending Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens in Denver. Then Sunday Night Football, it's the Giants and Cowboys in an NFC East showdown. All next week here on NBC4 New York. So the Giant offense back out on the field.
Let's see who's the running back here.
And they shuffle the offensive line. Bryant Browning is in at the right tackle. There's Darrell Scott. Ryan Nassib back in at quarterback for the Giants. Terrell Scott on the toss. Scott does all he can do to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Well, join the New York Giants for a new and exciting kickoff to the season. Monday, September the 16th, with a Big Blue Barbecue at MetLife Stadium to benefit the Touchdown Fund, Score for Kids, Cardiac and Cancer at Hackensack UMC Foundation. For more info, please go to Giants.com. 2nd and 10 for Nassib and the Giants. Approaching a minute to go here in the third. Scott in the flat gets tripped up at the 13-yard line by the rookie Logan Ryan, the 3rd round pick out of Rutgers.
Showed good hands there and catching the ball. Got to make a guy miss, but Terrell Scott showing he can do most phases of the requirements for running back.
Gain of 5. Patriots are high on Logan Ryan, their 3rd round pick. In fact, yesterday they got rid of Razai Dowling. He's had 2 injury-plagued years with the Patriots. And was a 2nd round pick. Nassib. Ball flutters out, tip, intended for Donnell, incomplete. He had him over the middle.
Yeah, he's got to get rid of the ball a little faster there. I think he was waiting for him to come scot-free, but a decent pocket.
You know, and Carl, that's the difference. You know, a guy who's a rookie, as Tom Coughlin said, you know, things are coming, you know, but it's slow. Whereas Painter moves around nicely in those situations and was able to make some accurate throws. Weatherford to punt. Leon Washington back deep. Toppling punt. Washington muffed it. Ball is loose. Giants have it. Wow, what a job by Cooper Taylor, the rookie, in his first action in the preseason. He's the guy that got down there and got right on top of Leon Washington.
Yeah, good job there by Cooper. Now, here's a guy also who's got to show value. They just got a injury at the safety position. They're going to be thin. Now he's showing he can play special teams, which will enable him to be a backup at the safety position.
Adrian Tracy recovered the fumble.
Another guy who needs to show value.
On the final play of the 3rd quarter, Nassib's going to throw. Nassib, for his intended receiver Talley, overthrew him a hair. He had inside position.
Yeah, and that's the whole rookie thing. Your internal clock either speeds up or slows down, and he's got to be able to manage it. He's got him wide open. Now he's got to just settle down and make a nice throw. You can't rush that. And you can say, oh boy, he's mad at himself for that one.
And because of the incompletion, we'll have one more play here in the 3rd quarter with the Giants up 20-14. 2nd and 10 at the Patriots 40-yard line. Terrell Scott trying to find some running, removes the pile to the 35. It's a gain of 5, and now a flag comes in late. And we'll check to see what the flag is. Looked like Julian Talley was mixing it up with Logan Ryan. Here's Walt Anderson with the call.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 19, offense. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced. It'll be 3rd down. This is the end of the 3rd quarter.
Well, there's no other way to get Tom Coughlin hot, and he's letting Julian Talley know it. Unnecessary penalty at the end of the 3rd. We start the 4th quarter. Marvin Austin staying loose. Giants have a 3rd and 20 after the penalty by Talley. Unsportsmanlike. Nassib completes it to Talley, but that's 5 yards short of the 1st down. Logan Ryan on the tackle. Carl, here was the play at the end of the 3rd quarter. You just can't do this. See, Talley's engaged with Logan Ryan, and then right here, whoop.
Can't do that. Hands to the face, and you got blocked. Take your medicine and line up and play the next play. You can't penalize your team, especially when you just got blocked. Nothing illegal about what happened to him.
Tom Coughlin's going to go for it here on a 4th and 5 at the Patriots 35. Tally remains in the ball game. Scott, the running back, to the right of Nassib. Nassib with time and not able to connect with Kevin Hardy. So the Giants turn the ball over on downs at the Patriots 35-yard line. Matt Sims thrown for 285 yards, 33 of 44. Jets lead Philadelphia 20-13 as we take a look at the out-of-town scores brought to you by Geico. Baltimore plays next Thursday night in Denver to kick off the season. They lead in St. Louis 14-10. Washington with a 30-9 lead in Tampa over the Bucs. Handoff, Wynn picks his way off the left side and gets about 3. George Wynn, 22 years of age, originally signed as a free agent with Houston, let go. Patriots picked him up. 2nd and 8. Mark Herzlich remains in the game, calling the defensive signals for the Giants. Second and 8 for Tebow, who's been sacked 4 times. Giants bring pressure. Ajomo can't get him to the ground. Tebow then just flips it downfield, and it's incomplete. Jake Ballard, the former Giant, was running downfield, did not spot the ball.
And the expression on Tebow's face after that play was, "I thought I had him." That wasn't even close.
Jake Ballard.
He rolls out of trouble here. Looking, lays the ball out there. Boy, you got to give the receiver a chance.
Good to see Jake Ballard on the field.
Tebow saying, "Oh boy."
Jake Ballard, who played such a big role in the Giants' Super Bowl year. That time Tebow throws a strike and gets a first down. Quentin Sims, a rookie free agent out of Tennessee Martin, with the catch to the 48-yard line.
You know, that's what you call one in a row for Tebow. He's got to string a few of those completions and show the same poise. Show that he can play that position of quarterback. He makes some throws and a lot of bad ones.
McBride on the tackle for the Giants. 1st and 10 Patriots. Down by 6. Tebow steps away from pressure. Tebow is going to air it out for Sims, but he overthrows him incomplete. The ball drifted out of bounds anyway.
No touch on that. It becomes a real question whether or not, you know, there's some things that the Patriots have in mind for him, or is there a development clock for him?
Well, when you think about the Patriots, Carl, and the fact that, you know, Welker's gone, they've got Edelman and Amendola. They've got a lot of young receivers. Can you afford to keep 3 quarterbacks when you've got other areas of need? 2nd and 10. Tebow flips it over the head of Thompson. And he's not even close. And the fans here in Boston are moaning and groaning.
Yeah, they're booing him. And I tell you, you can't play in this league at this level missing guys by this margin. I mean, that's 3 that are grossly overthrown. That's lining me up back there saying, okay, hit the open guy, and I just wind up and let it go and hope somebody comes under it. He's got to be better than that at this level to play the quarterback position. No question about it.
3rd and 10 for the Patriots at the 48. Dobson is the motion man. Giants bring pressure. Tebow over the middle, and Sims with the catch. Runs out of a McBride tackle. Tebow time in Foxborough.
That's only he does. He can stink up the place in one good play, and they love him. Now give the runner a little credit on that one too. But Tebow found the open guy. One missed tackle turns into a celebration.
And McBride with a poor job, and then the rookie Cooper Taylor is the safety.
Yeah, bad safety play as well. So when you look at all the things that go wrong, it makes him look extremely good on that play.
Cooper Taylor, the safety, has got to clean up the mistake by McBride, and he just took a curious angle. Gostkowski's extra point is good, and with 12:26 to go in the game, the Patriots have the lead. It hasn't been pretty for Tim Tebow tonight, but Quentin Sims cleaned it up for him. Patriots by 1. It's a big weekend of the Barclays Premier League, and here's the weekend lineup. 2 games on Saturday morning on NBC Sports Network, then on NBC Saturday afternoon, then Sunday morning. How about this matchup? What a way to wake up on NBC Sports Network. Liverpool and Man U, Manchester United.
That's a great matchup, and I love the fact that Americans are really tuned in masses to watch soccer.
Well, Josh McDaniels drafted Tim Tebow in the first round with the 25th pick in 2010 in Denver. Tebow performed his best under John Fox in that one miracle year in Denver. He made 2 good throws on that drive and about 5 awful ones. The last one to Quentin Sims, bad play by McBride and a worse play by the safety.
A lot of things have to go wrong for him to look good.
Gostkowski with the kickoff. Michael Cox watches it drift over his head for a touchback. So with 12:26 to go, David Carr is going to come out for the Giants with Tebow and the Patriots up by 1.
Patriots lead the Giants by a score of 21-20 in the 4th quarter, and I'm joined by 2-time Pro Bowler Justin Tuck. Going into the year, you said this defense, which was ranked 31st last year, Justin, could be #1 in the league. Do you still think that way?
Sure I do. I think for us, man, just learning from the mistakes we had last year and staying healthy. I really am confident in what we could do. But that's just me talking right now. We still got to go out there in the field and prove it.
How much do you want to prove that you've got a lot left in your body?
A lot. I know I do have a lot. So, for me, man, it really isn't concerning myself what other people think. For me, it's just going out there on the field and proving it every week. And we got a great chance this year, so I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Give me the pulse of the team right now with 10 days to go until the opener in Dallas.
We're excited. We're excited to get ready to play, our arch rivalry down in Dallas. Those games are always very exciting, and you don't have a lot of time to get, the ship completely righted. We got a few things we need to work on right now, but everyone is excited to get the year kicked off, and no better place than go down to Jerry World.
All right, so what's your prediction for Notre Dame? You are a man that bleeds the Irish. I know that. Opening up with Temple. How many wins you think?
I think, we can build off what we did last year. I'm thinking 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, somewhere around in there.
Are you going to stop at some point?
I just want them to play in the last game of the year, wherever that national championship game is. That's all I hope for those guys. I know that they got the talent. I know Coach Kelly is poised to have another great year out there, and everyone's excited about Notre Dame football right now.
By the way, Tuck had an interception last week, a very impressive one. He only has 1 in his life. What was that for?
Oh, the last time I had an interception, I think it was St. Louis, 2008, like a 47-yard touchdown.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah.
Hey, have a great year, my friend.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure, Bruce.
Okay, back upstairs to you, Bob.
And that interview brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, and that's right, Justin Tuck, 2008 in St. Louis against the Rams, a 41-yard touchdown. By the way, Carl, nice throw on a 2nd and 12 by David Carr to Marcus Harris. That got a first down, and Brandon Myers still in the game.
Yeah, showed a little foot action there. He was able to avoid a tackle and get the first down.
Well, and remember, Adrian Robinson, the 2nd-year tight end out of Cincinnati, was carted off in the first series. Carr, Talley drifts out of bounds, but the catch is good at the Patriots' 47-yard line. So that's a gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, Carr could be playing for his Giants career here now. He's had some real good competition from Painter this entire preseason. And he wants to show and prove.
The Giants with 4 quarterbacks on the roster. I asked Giants head coach Tom Coughlin about possibly going with 3. Michael Cox ran right into the defender. There was absolutely no blocking as he got belted by Mike Rivera.
Yeah, they
And
were
then Wilson cleaned it up.
waited for him with open arms. That offensive line was really bad. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. 3 guys in the backfield. There's the 4th and the 5th. Yeah, 5 linemen and 5 guys in the backfield. It means you 0 for 5 with blocks.
So now it's 3rd and 9 for the Giants at the 48. Bring pressure again, and that pass incomplete. Intended for Talley. Ryan on the coverage.
Hart threw his hands up. I don't know if he was upset that the ball was almost picked off, or it should have been a pass interference. An out route going to the inside.
So Steve Weatherford in the punt. And Leon Washington coughed one up back in the 3rd quarter. Washington this time a fair catch. Charles James storming right in on him at the 19-yard line. Tim Tebow coming back out. And there's a flag on the play, so we'll keep it right here. Flag at midfield.
See what it's going to be. Personal foul. Face mask.
So Walt Anderson and the officials will huddle up and explain to Bill Belichick what the infraction was.
During the kick, personal foul, grabbing the face mask, number 51 of the kicking team. New England has elected to enforce the penalty and will replay 4th down.
That's Zach Diassi, the long snapper for the Giants.
Native of Boston.
Zach has had a very good preseason, Carl. He's made a lot of tackles.
Yeah, there have been a lot of punts with the ineptitude of the offense.
Weatherford had 21 punts, and of course the Giants only carry 1 punter and 1 kicker on their roster. Some teams will elect to have 2, at least for preseason. 4th and 24 now. Weatherford to punt again. Washington from the 21, pinned in, and he's going to get swarmed under. Charles James had him pinned in. Ajomo had him pinned in, and Leon Washington had nowhere to go. So the net of that penalty is 3 yards for the Patriots. They lead by 1 in the 4th. It's time now for the Toyota drive of the game. Eli Manning in his last appearance of the preseason. The 91-yard drive hit Louis Murphy, then Bear Pascal, and then in the red zone, Manning, touchdown strike to Akeem Nicks, capping off a 91-yard drive. It's time, and now that was the Toyota drive of the game. There's Eli Manning. Got 3 series in and then out. Tebow is going to run it on 1st and 10. Tebow out to the 35-yard line.
Let's look at what he's done tonight. There's a sack.
Been sacked 4 times.
There's an overthrow. There's the touchdown. A few things go wrong, and it goes right for him.
And that's how the Patriots have moved in front by a point, 21-20. And they're going to just run Tebow now. Tebow hit by Prateau after a gain of 2.
When all else fails, run with Tebow.
Marvin Austin in the game at one of the defensive tackles for the Giants. Jonathan Hankins in at defensive tackle. Prateau and Ajomo the defensive ends. Bosworth, Herzlich, and Jaquan Williams are the linebackers. The corners McBride, Terrence Frederick, Caldwell and Hill the safeties. Tebow intercepted. And Tremaine McBride step for step with the receiver, Dobson, and he picked it off.
I may be stating the obvious here, but to play the quarterback position, accuracy is probably high on the list for a coach in evaluating his passer.
Ball too far to the inside, underthrown. A nice job by Tremaine McBride. Didn't play in the NFL last year. Giants signed him as a free agent, trying to stick. And Tremaine McBride signed as a free agent by the Giants with the interception, a former 7th-round pick of the Bears in 2007. Spent time with Chicago, Jacksonville, Arizona, didn't play in the league. Tebow hit McBride right in stride for the interception.
He did.
Carr on a 1st and 10. Wow, he had a receiver wide open, didn't see him in Kevin Hardy.
And I mean wide open. If he gets the ball out of his hands, that ball drops right in there for a big play, and he waited and waited and waited. So David Carr, again, at his experience level, you want him to be better.
He's going to look at that and say, wow, I had a chance for a big play there. So 2nd and 10 for the Giants. Cox, the running back, for Carr in a shotgun. Was it a false start on the Giants, or was a Patriot in the neutral zone? It looked like one of the defensive linemen influenced.
False start.
Well, we're going to call it on the Giants.
Wow, you had your right defensive end there. Looks like he drew him off. I didn't know that was still legal here. Let's take a look right there.
Delay of game. Offense.
That he moved towards the line of scrimmage.
Still 2nd down.
Well, now they're saying it was a delay of game. He didn't get the playoff. So no matter how you slice it, it's a 5-yard penalty. Giants have Selvish Capers in at the left tackle spot. 10 penalties on the Giants. 2nd down and a draw play to Cox, and the Patriots saw that coming to the sideline, and Howard Cross.
Guys, if Carr has any advantage over the other quarterbacks, and he may have to do this tonight, he can run. I mean, he's got some good wheels. He doesn't have the greatest arm, but he does have some speed. And if you have to mix it up a little bit for whatever reason, if Eli wasn't in the game, which we hope never happens, you might need a guy with some wheels to be able to create something in the game. That might be his only advantage that he has as a quarterback here.
Eli's certainly not going to run around, but Carr can. 3rd and 16 from the Giants 18.
Well, the other part of that backup quarterback is trust.
Cox can't elude the defenders, gets it out to the 19-yard line as Buchanan got pressure on Carr.
I got to imagine the reason Darrell Scott's not back in the game, and I'm sure they had him slated to play a lot more downs, is that he's a healthy body that they're going to need.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, right near the end of the first half, Andre Brown re-broke his left leg, the one he broke last year. Just horrible news for the Giants. So many big things planned for Andre Brown and David Wilson in that tandem. Leon Washington, a fair catch at the 40-yard line. So it's 6:28 to go in the preseason. Patriots have the ball back and lead by 1. NFL season gets underway next Thursday night here on NBC for New York. The Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens will travel to Denver to take on Peyton Manning and the Broncos. A rematch of last year's divisional playoffs. Bob Costas and the entire Football Night in America crew will be on hand. Keith Urban will perform in downtown Baltimore to kick off the 2013 NFL season here on NBC4 New York. Wynn on the carry, chased by Caldwell. Jaquan Williams jumps on his back after a gain of 2. David Caldwell, another guy who has had some flashes in the preseason.
And it comes down to how many splashes has he made to really stay in the consciousness of the coaches.
David Caldwell, a local kid from Montclair High School in New Jersey, didn't play last year in the league, originally a free agent with Indianapolis. Actually started 13 games 2 years ago for the Colts. Outside handoff goes to Ben Bartholomew, a rookie free agent out of Tennessee. Takes it out to the 47-yard line, a gain of 4 on the play. Surprised Quan Williams is still in the game, Carl.
Oh, Mark Herzlich's still in the game.
They only have so many linebackers.
Well, you know, there are only so many plays in a game, too, and you got to get these guys ready to go. Like I said, they don't practice much in terms of the physicality, so they're putting in things, still coaching them. You can see Coach Herman standing next to Jaquan Williams. He's trying to get him ready to play.
Third down for Tebow. Feels the pressure. Tebow's going to run it. Close to the first down, but I think he's short by about a yard. Good pursuit to the ball. Caldwell flushed him to the outside. Tebow's about a yard and a half short of the first down.
Probably try to run this one with him. Nope.
And they're not going to go for it. Bill Belichick will punt the ball away. And send out Ryan Allen to punt. Allen, back-to-back winners of the Ray Guy Award out of Louisiana Tech. Charles James back deep for the Giants. Good kick right to the sideline by Allen. It's time now for the Verizon call of the game. Nix to the top of the screen. Manning, Nix, touchdown Giants.
Well, I got to believe Tom Coughlin's a very happy man now. They got a drive going 91 yards.
Call the game brought to you by NFL Mobile from Verizon. That's powerful. Carl, you and I are huge fans of the NFL Mobile app.
Oh,
gets us on the ride to the airport.
Such a great resource to have on your phone. Checking scores, watching football highlights,
and then watching Sunday Night Football as we wait to take off for road games. Curtis Painter in at quarterback. Michael Cox can't juke the defender, and a nice open field tackle by Justin Green.
Yeah, Cox is not returning kicks now. The lanes aren't as spread out. Got to get north and south.
So Capers, Herman, Gooden, McCants, and Browning, the offensive line for Curtis Painter.
Oh, running back situation. There's a guy out there like Michael Turner, someone just tweeted, who's available. I'm sure Giants will look and see what's out there. I'm sure they're looking right now.
False start, number 62, offense, half the distance to the goal.
Eric Herman called for the false start, the rookie 7th rounder. You wonder if, you know, as far as known protections, do they make a call to Brandon Jacobs?
He knows it. If they feel he can still play, I'm sure he's in shape.
Brandon, of course, spent part of last year with San Francisco, got injured in the preseason, and it never materialized for him there.
They had a year off, so he's fresh.
Painter to throw. Painter for Marcus Harris. And did he make the catch? Yes, he did.
And there should be a flag on the play as well. I mean, the defensive back was holding him all the way down, but that's a good play by Harris. He needs to get up.
Harris is shaken up. Harris was signed on August the 12th. He's played for Omaha in the UFL, Iowa in the AFL, a former practice squad player with Detroit. Was signed after Chris Adams was injured. 43-yard pass play, but the medical staff out looking at him.
Yeah, I don't know if he fell on the ball or what. Looking at his torso, it looked like they're at his lower extremities or anything. Take a look. It's Painter. Painter drops that one in there really nice.
Kind of landed right on his shoulder, Carl.
Yeah.
He was battling Green and makes the catch and comes down on that left shoulder, still able to control the ball. So Marcus Harris, who played at Murray State, with a very nice catch in traffic, but shaken up on the play. Bill Belichick's going to challenge this, but I don't think the ball ever touched the ground.
No.
In the first replay that we showed, Harris reached for the ball, brought it into his body. The ball popped up, but it looked like it never touched the ground.
Oh, well, you know, Belichick has 2 challenges left in the preseason, so he wants to use one of them up.
Take another look at it right here.
He's underneath the ball.
It's not the angle. The other angle that we had from the other side gives a much clearer view. There you can't tell if the ball did touch the ground or not. But from right here, let's see. Ball hits his chest, never touches the ground, pops up in the air. He then controls it right there and has it pinned against his body. Should be a good catch.
Yeah.
Another look right here. See, the ball never touches the ground. Carl, I think that Belichick's going to lose this challenge.
Well, he's going to lose it anyway after the game. Can't carry him into the preseason. I mean, to the regular season.
It's his shoulder that hit the ground. The ball never touched the ground. And Harris is up. And obviously, when you've been in Iowa and Omaha and you've traveled around trying to make teams, you're going to get back up. And because look, even if these guys aren't going to make the Giants or the Patriots, maybe another team that has a need will sign you. You're playing not just for the team that you're on, and Harris is going to come back in the game. You're playing for a potential job somewhere else.
Yeah, Belichick did the Giants a favor and allowed him to get back in the game with this challenge.
All right, Walt Anderson's going to give us the ruling. Came out of there pretty quickly. I think it's going to stand.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands as called.
So the catch is good by Marcus Harris. So with 3:16 to go and the Giants down 1, Harris back in the game. First down Giants at the 46-yard line.
And Curtis Painter made a really nice throw there, identifying the opening and dropped it in.
Painter to throw on first down. Painter pass taken away by Donnell. Nearly intercepted, and Donnell made the catch. And it gets tackled at the Patriots' 48-yard line.
Yeah, that's called an eraser play there. He erased a big mistake by Painter. Donnell did. There's a pick.
Yeah, Rivera was the one that touched it first for New England, and Donnell went up, spotted it, and brought it in. Saved his quarterback.
Yep.
So 2nd and 3 for the Giants at the Patriots' 47. Painter
rewards him with a clean pass this time
to Donnell, right near the first down marker. Pretty close. I think he's got it. And they do move the sticks with 2:24 to go. So Larry Donnell, practice squad player with the Giants, originally a 7th-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Signed last year to the Giants practice squad. He and Adrian Robinson, they have talent. Tom Coughlin said it's the mental mistakes that get in the way. Painter late over the middle, and he's lucky that wasn't picked off by Tarpinian.
And yeah, this is probably the best opportunity to ask the question, who's performed better, Painter or Carr this preseason? I mean, is it still too close to call? Or
well, they got to make a call by Saturday. And now with these injuries, though, Carl, with some of the guys on the offensive line, and with Andre Brown getting hurt, Stevie Brown, you know, gone for the year. I mean, can you really afford to keep 3? You know, you drafted Nassib in the 4th round, but the roster spots are so valuable. You need extra offensive linemen right now.
Well, 4th round selection doesn't give you a guarantee of a roster spot.
Michael Cox to the 38-yard line, and he gets dragged down. That'll take us to the 2-minute warning. So the Giants driving down by 1. Can they win the preseason finale? We'll talk more about the Giant quarterbacks after this. Will David Carr continue to be Eli Manning's backup? Curtis Painter. See the guy? Ryan Nassib, drafted in the 4th round. Does he get a roster spot? It's the Giants down by 1. Have it 3rd and 4 at the Patriots' 38-yard line. Cox, the running back. Painter out of the gun. Patriots bring pressure. Painter has time. Painter for Hardy. Can't reel it in. No flag.
No
Ball's
flag.
a little underthrown, Carl. And Painter knew it.
I tell you, Painter, he knew it, but he stayed in the pocket. They brought a blitz, and he stayed under control in the pocket and gave himself a chance to put the ball out there. He just didn't throw it far enough.
Yeah, Hardy's got a couple steps on Marquise Cole.
That's an arm bar. I don't know. That's a lot of contact
Yeah,
there.
you know what? Marquise Cole could have gotten called for a penalty because he actually hit Hardy before the ball got there, right there with the arm. In any event, 4th and 4 at the New England 38. Again, the Patriots will bring pressure, and Painter gets sacked. Steve Boharness came flying in.
And that seals the deal. The Patriots can run out the clock here.
And it was meat at the quarterback. There were 4 Patriots there. Buchanan's gotten pressure all night. He was in that mix. The protection just did not hold up, and it's the throw before that he had Hardy and not able to clean it up and make the play when it was there. Tebow avoids Tracy. Tebow slides to safety at the 48-yard line with 1:39 to go, and Tom Coughlin will call a timeout. So while we were talking about the Giants quarterbacks, why don't we bring in Howard Cross here about sort of the decision-making process, Howard, if they go with 2 or 3, and which one is number 2 behind Eli Manning?
Well, right now, you know, as much as I think Carr has an advantage with his legs, Painter seems to have an advantage with the decision-making and getting the ball out of his hands. He did a good job in that last drive. As far as keeping the 3rd quarterback, I think he can let Nassib go and bring him back on the practice squad. I don't think he's shown enough, you know, as a Giant in his preseason that would make other teams say, ooh, I got to get that guy and bring him on the team. He looks like he's a development player, and it's going to take time.
That'll be interesting as a 4th-round pick if he did not make it, but we have to take into consideration some of these injuries they have and other needs. Wynn pounds it into the line and slithers ahead to the 44. Giants head coach Tom Coughlin calls a timeout. Important message for Giants fans attending games at MetLife Stadium this year. In an effort to enhance public safety, a new NFL bag policy implemented this season. Guests are welcome to carry in clear plastic bags 12 inches by 6 inches by 12 or small purses and handbags that are 4.5 by 6.5 inches or less in size. Any non-clear bag exceeding the size limit, including camera or binocular bags, will not be permitted. The Giants appreciate your assistance and cooperation with these policies. For more information, go to Giants.com. 3rd and 2 at the Giants 44. Wynn dragged from behind. I think Jaquan Williams got him and stopped him short of the 1st down.
Its linebackers are in. Still trying to get those guys the experience needed. Keep in mind, Jaquan Williams didn't play a lot last year. He was plagued with injury.
So the Giants will call a timeout, their last timeout, with 1:14 to go. And looks like the Patriots are just a little less than a yard short of the 1st down. Yeah, Jaquan Williams played very well his rookie season, the year that the Giants went to the Super Bowl. Appeared in 16 games at 61 tackles and a sack. Last year, a knee injury, limited to 10 games, and didn't have that burst that we saw as a rookie.
Not at all, but he's getting that playing time under his belt now, which is important. Seeing situational football, the things you can't simulate in practice at full speed, so it's good for him to be in there.
All right, Bill Belichick brings out the punting unit. And Ryan Allen takes the snap, gets it away with the reverse spin. James a fair catch at the 15-yard line. So the Giants will get another crack at it, down by a point. Curtis Painter will jog back out.
If he can get him in field goal range with 1:07 left on the clock.
You know, situational football. You know, Patriot fans wanted Bill Belichick to go for it, but you know, maybe there's something he wanted to see from his special team guys and his rookie punter.
Yeah. And this is certainly something Coach Coughlin wants to see from his potential backup to Eli Manning.
Hey, what better situation? You're out of timeout, you're down by a point, you need a field goal. You know that Brown, good from, you know, can give you a legitimate shot somewhere around 52, 53. Painter can't take a sack though.
Yeah. And his offensive lineman, right tackle, whoever that is, has got to know he can't give up a sack.
Scott Vallone, rookie free agent out of Rutgers from Central Islip, gets the sack. 2nd and 19. Painter, Donnell, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 39 seconds to go. Tell you what, Michael Buchanan, the 7th round pick of the Patriots, has worn out the Giants tackles tonight. Gave James Brewer all he could handle, and now he's given Selvish Capers, the left tackle, all he can handle.
Yeah, they've got Brewer wishing he played guard today. Exposed out there.
Started the game at guard. 3rd and 12 with 39 seconds to go for Painter and the Giants down by 1. Completes it to Hardy. Nice tackle right on the spot by Marquise Cole. So it'll be 4th down for the Giants and 8. 25 seconds to go. Painter sacked again.
Yeah, well.
And that'll do it as he gets sacked on 4th down.
With an offensive line whose names you may not be calling during the regular season.
Marcus Bernard, the former Cleveland Brown, got the sack. So the preseason will end for the Giants with 3 consecutive losses.
There has been some progress in a lot of areas.
And guess what? 99, Michael Buchanan was the first guy there, and then Bernard finished it off. Buchanan had a big night against the Giants backups. So now Tim Tebow will come in, and they're not in the victory formation to take a knee with 10 seconds to go. Tebow's actually going to throw it and complete it for the touchdown to Quentin Sims.
He stays with it. Good for him.
The line score will show that Tim Tebow threw two touchdown passes.
That's right. Good for him. They have the breakdowns, and he takes advantage of them, and that was a good play by him. That's something they wanted to work on, the fade route. He threw a fade route. That's part of why they call that play, to see if he could make that throw. He threw it well.
Terrence Frederick mistimed his jump, and Quentin Sims gets his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Good location of the football by Tim Tebow on that play.
Laskowski with the extra point. It's good. So now the Patriots lead by 8. If the Giants return the kickoff for a touchdown, I guarantee you Tom Coughlin's going for 2.
There's Tebow. Lays it in there.
And Frederick made the mistake of mistiming his jump, Carl.
Yeah, but it was nevertheless, it was a good throw. Threw for a spot, highest point.
And a nice job by Quentin Sims, who went up and got it. High pointed it, reeled it in. Tebow threw one earlier to Sims.
Tebow's happy he and Josh McDaniels. Josh said, thank you for making me.
Well, you wonder if that might be the last pass for Tim Tebow as a Patriot.
You never know. They have decisions to make, that's for sure.
Bill Belichick, Tom Coughlin, Well, they're going to get their rosters down to 53 by Saturday. On Saturday. Tebow 6 of 11, 91 yards, 4 sacks, 2 touchdown passes. Gostkowski to kick it off. And a little onside kick. And it's recovered by the Giants. And I think it was Donnell who did the wise thing and gave himself up, Carl, rather than.
Yeah, try to pick it up and run the clock out.
So
trying to score.
Now Nassim's going to come in. And the Giants are going to heave one downfield and hope they can get a miracle play or maybe an interference. And
maybe Nassim should line up as a punter to give himself more time to throw it. This offensive line hasn't been great for him. I know he's just going to take a knee. Call it a day.
That's what Nassim's going to take the knee, and the Giants are going to say goodbye to preseason 2013. The final score: the Patriots 28, the Giants 20. Tim Tebow a couple touchdown passes, but Carl, a lot of decisions for Tom Coughlin, and obviously the big news is the two coaches shake hands. The big news is the broken leg of Andre Brown lost to the Giants.
That makes the decision making that much more difficult. You got to figure out who you want in the backfield. Is Brandon Jacobs a viable option? He's fresh, knows the system, can block.
And the offensive line with Deal out for a while, and can David Boss get back and take his center spot? They move Booth over to center. They have Brewer at guard to protect Eli Manning.
Yeah, but those are available bodies. You know what you have there, but you've got spots to fill now. You know,
does Ryan Terrain make the team? We just saw him there at the running back position.
And is he good enough to play special teams at a high level?
What about Terrell Thomas? Got beat for a touchdown, but showed a lot of other good things.
Yeah, and you know, with the depth in the defensive backfield a little shaky, and he can play both safety and corner. We'll see.
A lot of questions at the defensive tackle position. You saw Linval Joseph. A lot of talent there, Carl.
Yeah, they got good problems at that area. In that area. So
yeah, that's the one area you want.
You want that problem.
You're gonna probably have to get rid of a good player because you have depth there.
Yeah.
What about the linebackers? It sort itself out at all for you?
I think so, and I think they've all started to kind of come into their own and be productive players.
Mark Herzlich started training camp as the starter. Dan Connor moved ahead of him. We'll find out what his status is as well. The final score from Gillette Stadium: the Patriots defeat the Giants 28-20. Don't forget, next Thursday night the NFL season opens with the Super Bowl champion Ravens visiting Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos, and then the opening game of Sunday Night Football has the Giants taking on the Cowboys in Dallas. Football night in America gets things started at 7 Eastern. Don't forget, Notre Dame opens up this season Saturday against Temple at 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC. So for Carl Banks, Howard Cross, Bruce Beck, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa saying so long from Gillette Stadium.